Welcome to the Explainer. So tonight, we're going to pull back the curtain on lucid dreaming, turning this really mysterious phenomenon into something you can get your head around.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a question for you. Have you ever been in the middle of some bizarre dream? Maybe you're flying or you're back in high school, but you're also 30, and suddenly a little voice in your head goes, "Hey, wait a second, I think I'm dreaming?" If you answered yes to that, then congratulations, you've had what scientists call a lucid dream. And the key thing here isn't about controlling the dream, at least not at first. It's simply that flash of awareness, that moment the lights come on, so to speak, inside your own sleeping mind. Now, this isn't some new age idea. People have been talking about this for literally centuries. Aristotle even wrote about it. But it only got its official name back in 1913 from a Dutch psychiatrist, Frederik van Eeden. And when he said lucid, he didn't necessarily mean the dream was crystal clear. He meant lucid as in mental clarity, like having a moment of real insight. So this has moved way beyond just being a cool philosophical idea. Today, science has found some absolutely incredible ways to actually study this state of consciousness. Let's take a look at what they've found. And get this, it is way more common than you might think. We're talking over half of us, 55%, have had this happen at least once in our lives. And for almost a quarter of the population, it's a regular thing, happening once a month or even more. So this isn't some fringe experience. It's a pretty fundamental part of what it means to be human for a lot of us. The way science actually proved this was happening is just an incredible story. It really kicked off in 1975, when a researcher recorded the very first message sent from inside a dream, a simple prearranged signal using eye movements. Then in the 80s, Stephen LaBerge at Stanford really blew the doors open on this research. Fast forward to 2021, and it's just mind-blowing. Scientists were having actual two-way conversations with people who were asleep, asking them math problems and getting the right answers back. So, what is going on in the brain when this happens? Well, a lucid dream is this amazing hybrid state. It usually happens during REM sleep, when your brain is super active but your body is paralyzed. What's different is that a very specific part of your brain, the bit responsible for higher order thinking and self-awareness, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is normally quiet during REM, suddenly wakes up. It's like part of your awake brain gets flipped on while the rest of you is still deep in dreamland. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. For some people, this isn't just something that happens to them. It's a skill, something you can actually practice and get better at. This is where you go from being a passenger in your dream to being the pilot.
Clinical psychologist Kristen Lamarca actually breaks it down into different stages of mastery. Most of us, if we've done it at all, are beginners. We get those fleeting moments of awareness. But with practice, you can become experienced, where you start to have some control. A proficient dreamer can go into a dream with a plan and actually carry it out. And then you have the experts. This is incredibly rare, a level of mastery that takes decades of intense dedication, something often associated with traditions like Tibetan dream yoga.
The fact that we can become aware in a dream, it really makes you step back and ask an even bigger question. Why do we dream in the first place? What's the whole point of it all? For more than 100 years, there have been these two big competing ideas. In one corner, you've got Sigmund Freud. He believed dreams are all about psychology. They're our unconscious wishes bubbling up in symbolic form. In the other corner, you have J. Allen Hobson, who came at it from a biological angle, suggesting dreams are just our brain trying to make a coherent story out of random nerve signals firing while we sleep. The big debate was, is it deep meaning or just brain static? But what's so cool is that modern neuroscience is starting to bridge that gap. This quote here points to how even the biology seems to support the idea of meaning. See, during REM sleep, our brains are flooded with dopamine. And dopamine isn't random. It's the chemical of motivation, of wanting, of seeking. So even if the dream is sparked by random signals, the story our brain decides to tell is guided by our deepest motivations and goals. It's not one or the other, it's both. All right, so all of this brings us to the big question. What can we actually do with this knowledge? And, maybe more importantly, should we? Let's wrap up by looking at both the incredible potential and the potential downsides of lucid dreaming. The potential here is, well, it's huge. For someone plagued by nightmares, becoming lucid is a total game changer. You can literally face your fears or just change the dream script. It's also like having the world's most advanced virtual reality simulator built into your head. People use it to solve creative problems, practice complex skills. There are even reports of surgeons rehearsing procedures. It's a safe space to work through real-life issues.
But, and this is a really important but, you've got to be careful. For individuals with certain mental health conditions, blurring that line between what's real and what's a dream can be genuinely risky. And then there's sleep paralysis. It's a state where your mind wakes up but your body's still in that REM sleep paralysis. It's not physically dangerous, but let's be real, it can be absolutely terrifying if you're not prepared for it.
So that leaves us with this one last thought, a really personal one. Every single night, you have access to this universe that your own mind builds from scratch, a place where the laws of physics are just suggestions. So the question is, if you had the key to that world, if you could be fully conscious inside of it, what would you do? What would you create?